Hello, this is Gray Hughes. I am doing an update on the Casey James Lahorn case. You remember this from yesterday. We were discussing him last night and earlier in the day yesterday. He's the individual who killed his mother and friend. All right, and the mother's name was Vi Lawhorn and his friend was Avery Gaines. All right, now according to let me give you a full screen here. According to his message he left on Facebook, these are the technical details that he wrote. Technical details. This morning at 1:30, I shot and killed my mother, Vi Lawhorn, and a close friend of mine, Avery Gaines, with a stolen .22 caliber long rifle. Avery was staying the night to go with me to Epicos Hickson tonight to play MTG like we usually do. I guess this is that magic card game. One of the viewers on YouTube let me know. So it was like when I was a kid, there was a game. Well, it wasn't right when I was a kid. It was like a younger adult. There was a game called Magic something or other with playing cards, a role-playing game. So he was into that kind of stuff. He fell asleep on my living room floor at around 12:30. The same time I went to pick up my mom from Bud's Sports Bar on Brainerd Road. I mean, he's so specific when he's typing. It's kind of creepy. All right, so here we go. Here's Bud's Sports Bar right here. It's just kind of a bar that's in a strip mall, basically. So we're gonna go down to Google Earth Street View, look over here. This is as close as I can get. It's just right in there, all right? And that appears to be about 3 or 4 miles from his house. And that's his house right there. So if we were going to do a measurement here, just as the crow flies, so it's going to be a little bit further driving. So 3.6, so make that 4 miles to drive there. All right. Then he apparently went back home. All right, so let's resume the message here. My mom was completely wasted, and just like every other time she gets drunk, she goes on and on without prompt about how devastated she'd be if I killed myself. Once I got her back to our house, I went to my room and grabbed the gun. I nervously paced for a few minutes, playing the coming events out in my head, which were vastly different from what actually happened. I walked up to Avery as he slept and shot him in the head once. He seemed to die instantly. My mom was in her room, disoriented from alcohol, barely registered that anything happened. I attempted to shoot her in her bed right then, but the gun jammed. She didn't notice what I had just attempted. I left the room and fixed the jam. When I went back into the room, she was out of bed trying to calm down her dog, Oscar. I rapidly got off 2 shots, but I missed anything vital since there weren't any lights on in her room. So he's saying, well, because I couldn't see very well, that's why I missed. Other than that, I saw 1 entry wound in her left arm. I'm not sure where the other one went. She started screaming, the worst scream I've ever heard. Movies really don't do justice to how true terror sounds. The gun jammed up, so I scrambled to get it fixed. She shouted, "You shot me! You've killed me! Why?" Once I got the jam fixed, I turned on the light so I wouldn't miss again. I shot at her twice more, and it was over. I went back into the living room to take the heroin and cash Avery had on him. The hole in his head, he spelled hole wrong, he spelled hole W-H-O-L-E. The hole in his forehead was so small, and not a lot of blood had come out of it. However, thick dark blood was pouring from his nose, and bile came out of his mouth. I was shaking from adrenaline, but I felt nothing other than that, except maybe disgust at the corpse in front of me and the noises it was making. I reached into his pocket to get out his wallet, grabbed what I wanted, and left the house. The whole event took probably 3 or 4 minutes. I had hoped both were going to be quick and efficient. I didn't want my mom to suffer. Did you want Avery Gaines to suffer? Yeah, right here it says, however, as I sit here in Mississippi, writing this on the side of I-59 south after my car broke down, what I look forward to is the nothingness after death. I've spent a lot of time thinking about murder, wondering what it feels like, but I've barely felt anything. He seems to just have absolutely no, remorse or basically any empathy whatsoever for the people he killed. He's, that's just absolutely crazy. All right, now, they were able to find the car that he claimed broke down on the side of the road. I wonder if it just ran out of gas. It wasn't his car. Now, an image that was on Twitter was this one right here. Let me move it onto the screen. All right, and I was able to locate this overpass and verify that it was the right one. It was exit 118 on I-59 in Mississippi. And Casey had driven over 300 miles to get to this location. Okay, so let's go to that location. Here is Casey James Lahorn's vehicle location right here. I'll put the street view on the bridge so you get a similar look to that. And if you go right here, look down, you can see that this is the same location. Like, see this tree right there, and there's another tree right there. You can actually see part of that in this image right there and there. It's just closer to the edge and zoomed in a little bit. All right, so there's a yellow sign there, the sign there, and this clump of trees, this higher part of a tree there, all this, it all matches perfectly. All right, see, there's that higher part of the tree, this clump, this part right there, the yellow sign. It's all exactly the same. So his car was right in this area, right? And then this morning when I woke up, there's some Twitter images. My friend Elizabeth kept sending them over and over again so I could I had a whole bunch to go by, but the one that seemed the most obvious to me was this image right here. This is where apparently they found his body. You can see, I think this might be another car there, a police car, and these trucks right here. So apparently, maybe the body was found back in the woods over in this area. Okay, and let me show you on Google Earth where that is. It's actually just this direction. So he must have got out of his car, and it's obvious, most likely he's not going to cross the traffic, and he went this direction and up into the woods over here. So if we were just going to look at the woods, and you can see that there's a big wooded area over here. Okay, so his car was right there and he crossed, and he was found somewhere up in here. Okay, but that image that we were just looking at, this one right here, is right here on the map. Okay, and I'll show you the street view just to show you where those cars were parked. Okay, so that's the same sign we see in the image, and the trees look the same. If I could just get the street view on this side of the road, it would look, you could line it up almost exact, but I can't because there's only one street view direction. When usually on a freeway you get two directions. See, there's that sign right there, and how there's a bigger tree, then it goes down that direction. There's this dirt turnout right there. At this time there's a pile there, but when Google Earth, this is from 2014, it's a little different, but you can tell it's the same area right here. All right, so they parked their cars there and then walked back in that area, and if you look, it looks like it's wooded. And then there's another shot that I got, and it's this one right here, and I think that that's actually down that road we were just looking at. So now take a look at this. As you go down this road, you can see there's no trees on the left side about halfway down, but then there's trees that go around, and then it takes a left right there. Okay, so let's take a look at Google Earth again, and I think that's this right here. All right, so from back here, if you took a shot down this road, you would see that it looked wooded, and then there's a left turn, and then there's halfway down, there's no trees, right? So if I put street view, it's hard to see because it's blocked out. That's the problem. Like if this truck wasn't there, we could see. I guess it's a trailer, not really a truck. But if this trailer wasn't there with the wood on it, you could see down that direction. But I really think that that's what we're looking at in this image right here, and it makes sense. So now we know that they're down there, or a good likelihood they're down there. We can take a look and see that they're parked, and so the body was probably located in the woods here, or somewhere in this area, and that makes sense. He came up this direction and then headed off into the woods. I don't know if he went like this or through the woods right there, but there's cars parked here and here, and so I think that is where he was found. So apparently they found his body, and they can start piecing together the whole story and what actually happened and why in this case. I think you'll probably find some, or hopefully you'll find some medical records of him having, mental issues. That would be if his mother was responsible and actually did contact, a hospital or something, or even the authorities to say, hey, my son, he's threatening to kill himself all the time, and I think something's wrong with him. All right, but we don't know. Okay, so that's where we're at right now with the updates. He seemed to be a very political person online. That's another thing. If you go to his Facebook page, I'll put his Facebook page in the links. You can go check out his post. Oh yeah, there is one more thing I was going to say. He did make a very ironic post, and look at this one. It said, "I probably wouldn't have just puked up a bullet. Mental health is a very important part of this conversation. Why we constantly avoid talking about gun control." All right, so he's saying mental health should be discussed when also talking about gun control, and yet he is someone who got a gun, had mental issues, and then killed his mom and friend. Okay, I think that's pretty ironic. All right, so there you go. There you have it. There is the update, and until next time, everybody out there, be safe.